Hello, I'm Darth Vangoff, and if you are a new player to Guild Wars 1, or if you are thinking about getting into the game in the near future, then I'm here to help you. Guild Wars 1 is a fun game, but it's also a big game with lots of different directions to go in, at least once you get to the middle. Knowledge of what's out there isn't obvious at first. You might miss things, or you might find out about some things after the fact. It wasn't that long ago that I was a new player. There were things that I wish people had told me when I first started, and there were things that people did tell me when I first started that I'm grateful for. I'm here to share that information with you, so that you are properly guided through the content of the game when you first play. I do want to clarify that this series of videos is oriented towards guiding players through content. It is not a cheat guide, nor is it a build guide. I won't claim to be nearly the best player at the game, and I haven't even done everything there is to do in the game. Since I'm on the topic of what the actual goal of this video series is, allow me to make 3 more clarifications. This series of videos assumes that you will have 4 main campaigns. The 3 standalone campaigns, which are Prophecies, Factions, and Nightfall, plus the Eye of the North campaign, which isn't standalone. If you don't have all 4 of these games, then there might be information in this series that isn't relevant to you. But since I will be going over all the campaigns, there should be something here for you, so feel free to stay and listen. And if you don't own all the campaigns, I do recommend buying them all, as I did enjoy them all. Please note that I will not be including the bonus mission pack in this series of videos. Second, this series assumes that you read the manual for all the campaigns, or at least of one of the campaigns. I don't wish to be redundant with the instruction manual, so all the information I will be presenting here is simply stuff I wish I had known beforehand. If I had read something already in an instruction manual, I will not be including it. Finally, this series is PvE focused. That is, it's about the player versus the environment, or about the story campaigns. The PvP side, or player versus player side, the competitive aspect of this game, is something I'm not touching. And finally, this is my subjective opinion of what I think everyone should know when they first start the game. In no way am I pretending to be an objective opinion. This will be a 5-part video series. The first video is a general overview on how to play the game for new players, basically an orientation. The second video will be on how to get through the beginning parts of each of the 3 individual standalone campaigns. The third video is what I recommend you do when you get to the point in each individual standalone campaign to cross over to another campaign. When you're at the point where you're able to cross over to another campaign, I don't suggest continuing along the campaign you're already on. There's a list of things you should do. The fourth video will be tips on how to complete each of the 3 standalone campaigns and Eye of the North. The last video will be on how to level up a pre-searing Ascalon character up to level 20, and a few other miscellaneous things such as information on the festivals in Guild Wars 1. Rule number 1 for playing Guild Wars 1, always have the wiki open. It's something my friend taught me, and it has come in such handy that I just can't even fathom playing this game without the wiki. There's so much information you can miss in this game that having the wiki open is vital. So let me give you an example of why you want the wiki open all the time. Let's say you're doing a mission. Let's say you have the wiki page for that mission open. If you're doing the mission, sometimes they have hidden second objectives. And if you have the wiki page open for that mission, you can tell what the second objective is. So you have the option of doing the second objective the first time you do that mission. Another example of why it's handy to have the wiki open. Let's say you're about to do a mission, or you're about to explore a new map. If you have the wiki page for that map or mission open, you can look and see what bosses are there, and you can see what elite skills they have. And if you don't already have that elite skill, you can decide whether or not you want to take the Signet of Capture with you. Just no matter what else I say in this video, know that having the wiki open is just something that I have found so useful. I can't fathom playing this game without the wiki. Now, even though I love Guild Wars 1, I have to admit that this game might not be fun at first. That's right. When I first played this game back in 2006, when Prophecies was out, I did not have much fun, and I quit after a while. And there are several reasons why I quit, and you might encounter the same problems that I did, and I wish to address those problems here just to help you mitigate them or to help you overcome them. The thing that I think contributes the most to this game not being fun is that one of the elements that makes this game fun is introduced too late, especially in the Prophecies campaign, which is the one I played way back in 2006. This thing that makes the game fun is called the Signet of Capture. The Signet of Capture is a skill that allows you to learn other skills. What you do is you equip it, you go out into the world, and you defeat a boss. Once you defeat the boss, you can learn skills from the boss, including elite skills. And this is one of the only two ways to learn elite skills, other than using tomes to learn skills that are already on your account. Now, the fun of this game's unlocking things, and the Signet of Capture makes it fun. But the problem is, when you're playing the Prophecies game, you don't even get introduced to the Signet of Capture until about halfway through the game. I think it's when you go to the Crystal Desert. The second thing that might put you off to this game is the combat. This game is stiff. It is a tab target game where you can't move while you attack, so it feels clunky. This game is not Guild Wars 2. When I first played it, I felt like when I went to a battle, there wasn't a lot of decisions I could make during the battle that could affect the outcome. This isn't 100% true, but maybe it's 50% true. This game is more about building your character and getting good combinations of skills and attributes and equipment rather than making split-second decisions during combat. And that's why it's fun to unlock things. You can add options to how you want to build your character. That's why this game allows you to alter your build whenever you're in a town or a safe zone. This game encourages you to play around with certain combinations of skills and abilities, so you should take that opportunity. The third reason you might not find this game fun is because it's not as open world as Guild Wars 2, and you might simply get stuck trying to find the right narrow path to progress through the game. Simply put, this game wasn't intended to be open world, especially during the first two campaigns, Prophecies and Factions. In those campaigns, you were supposed to fight your way through maps. Many maps were designed as narrow passages through rugged terrain, with only a few sections that widened out wide enough so you can go around groups of enemies. Also, unlike Guild Wars 2, you can't jump, so you can only go along predetermined paths. There are some places in this game that are in fact gated. That is, you can't proceed to the next area until you finish a quest or mission. There might be times when you don't know where to go next, and because it's so difficult to fight your way through a map, you might have a hard time exploring everything that's out there. My suggestion is follow all primary quests and do all the mission outposts. Oftentimes, the mission outpost will simply take you to the next area you're supposed to be in, and when you're doing a quest, there'll be a quest icon showing you where to go, and for primary quests, that can sometimes lead you to where you need to go to progress a campaign. If you still don't know where to go, then my suggestion is go to all the towns and outposts that were around the area where you last left off in the campaign. Try to find quest-giving NPCs and try to find quests that you don't already have. This game is supposed to be multiplayer, and you're supposed to have a group. If you're new to this game, I do not suggest soloing your way through a map, except maybe at the beginning of Prophecies in an area called Pre-Searing Ascalon, which is the tutorial area. Always be in a full party of characters, whether they be AI-controlled characters or other people playing the game. The only downside is that you have to split the XP, but it's better to split the XP early and progress to a point where you have higher level enemies so that you can get more XP from it. You will eventually get to level 20 unless you stay in a low level zone perpetually. So that's why you want to get through those low level zones. If you have no friends to play this game with, you have several options. There are henchmen, which are the non-player characters you see standing around towns and outposts, and you can click on them and you can add them to the party through your party UI. And then when you go out into an instance, they will be in your party. There are also heroes, which are unlockable NPCs that you can add to the party solely through using your UI, so you don't look around in a town and outpost to click on them. Once they are in your party, you can customize their equipment and skills using the same UI you use for yourself. So when you're equipping skills or items, you look at your character's portrait along the top, and next to your portrait are the heroes' portraits. Click on their portraits to customize them. Heroes can only be unlocked if you have Nightfall or Eye of the North on your account. Mercenaries are something that I don't even have unlocked. Basically, you go to the cash shop, you purchase a mercenary slot, and then you can clone a character of yours to use as an NPC for other characters on your account. For more information, I suggest going to the wiki page and looking up mercenaries. And then there is pugging, which is you simply find random other players to play with by asking them in chat, hey, do you want to join me? Now, I do want to let you know that this game currently has a low population, so it might be hard to find other players to play with. The exception is a place called Commodon, Jewel of Istan, which is the starting area for the Nightfall campaign. Now, back in the day, this used to be considered an MMORPG, a massive multiplayer online RPG, but really, it's an instance multiplayer game with a shared lobby, the lobby being the towns and outposts. You still might hear people refer to it as an MMO, although it technically isn't. Let's move on to quests. There are two types of quests, primary and secondary quests. Primary quests help you along a campaign, so that's why it's generally recommended that you go do them. In Eye of the North, there are no mission outposts, so everything is done through quest formatting. Now, when you complete a quest, it'll show in your quest log that it is completed, but this isn't always the case. A good example of this is a quest called Scholarly Affairs, which is one of the early Nightfall quests. So in this instance, you could always look at the specific quest description to see the status of the completion, as opposed to looking in the heading in the quest log. When you're doing a quest, you could always press M to look at the quest icon on the world map to see where you need to go to complete the quest. However, when you're underground, you cannot do this. There are two other maps in addition to the world map. There's your compass, the one that shows you the range at which enemies detect you, but you can't scroll this, and sometimes it's not big enough to encompass an area that has your quest destination in it. So when you're underground, my recommendation is to press U. When you press U, it brings up a third type of map. This is a mini-map that you can drag, so you could drag along the area to look around, or you can expand the map, and this will help you when you're doing quests underground. Sometimes really good elite skills can be found off bosses that spawn only during quests, so sometimes it's helpful to have the wiki page open for a quest ahead of time to see if you want to use the signet of capture and bring that along with you as you do the quests. Most quests outside Eye of the North cannot be replayed, so if you miss that opportunity, you might not be able to learn that particular elite skill until further down along the game, unless you party up with someone who hasn't done the quest yet. And this also includes festivals. Some festivals have quests that spawn bosses that allow you to learn elite skills. Let's say you're able to get a Halloween quest in Lion's Arch, and you go to an area where that boss spawns during that holiday window, then you were able to learn that elite skill using the signet of capture, and you've only gotten to Lion's Arch, and wherever else that quest takes you. This game isn't just about doing quests, it's also about doing missions. Now, when you're in a mission outpost, there's not always a consistent method for entering a mission. So in Prophecies, you have to look at your party UI and you have to hit the Enter Mission button. For Nightfall, you have to go to a mission outpost and you have to speak with an NPC with glowing green crossed swords above their heads. And for Eye of the North, there are no missions, everything's just a quest. When you finish a mission, you usually end up somewhere else. This is often your next destination. Whenever you finish a mission, the first thing you should do is look around where you end up and look for quest-giving NPCs, or NPCs with exclamation points above their heads. These NPCs might give you quests that you might need in order to get to the next mission outposts. Sometimes these quests simply point you in the right direction, and sometimes these quests are mandatory to do simply to even enter the next mission outposts, especially in the Nightfall and Factions campaigns. There are times when a mission outpost isn't always a mission outpost. That is, it's just a location on the map that's like a normal town. And then once you meet a certain requirement, it becomes a mission outpost. Such examples include Black Tide Den, which starts out as just a town on the island of Istan at the beginning of the Nightfall campaign, but once you do a certain quest, it becomes a mission outpost. And then there's Augury Rock, which is in the Crystal Desert in the Prophecies campaign. That is just a normal town, but then once you finish 3 other missions, I believe they're Thirsty River, Dunes of Despair, and I forget the other one. Then once you finish those 3 missions, Augury Rock becomes a mission outpost, and then you can do the Augury Rock mission. Since I'm on the topic of Augury Rock, it's important to note that when you're in that mission, you don't enter the mission by hitting the Enter Mission button on the party UI, as there is none. Unlike all the other Prophecies missions, you have to go speak with an NPC with like a glowing icon above their head to enter that mission. And it's a solo mission, you cannot enter it with a party. Before you start a mission, it might be a good idea to look at the wiki page for that mission to see if there's any hidden secondary objectives or any unlockable elite skills you might want. That'll help you decide if you want to bring along the Signet of Capture. It's also helpful to look at the wiki page for the Zaishin challenge quests, because sometimes those quests are given for doing missions, and that might be a mission you're about to do. If that's the case, why not get the quest at the Zaishin Island, which is Embark Beach, and then go do the mission, so you not only get rewarded for doing the mission, you also get rewarded for doing the Zaishin quest associated with the mission. My final thing to talk about is unlocking skills, and just character progression in general. As you go through the game, you learn skills that your character can use. Once you learn a skill, you unlock it on your account. Once you unlock a skill on your account, that means that your PvP-only characters can equip those skills, and your heroes can also equip those skills, if you unlocked any heroes. If you create any other PvE characters, you cannot equip that skill unless that particular PvE character learns that skill. If you have a PvE character that hasn't learned a skill that you've unlocked on your account, you could use special tomes that will allow that PvE character to learn a skill that you unlocked on your account. If you plan on using heroes from a spectrum and variety of professions, they can only use skills that you've unlocked on your account. You might want to play a variety of professions in order to unlock skills on all the classes, so that your heroes can use them. There are 2 ways to do this. You can simply create additional characters. So if you're a warrior monk, but you want your heroes to learn elementalist skills, you could always create an elementalist character on your account. But if you don't want to do that, you could also change your secondary profession. So you could become a warrior elementalist so that one character can learn everything. Now, normally, you get a secondary profession at the beginning of one of the standalone campaigns. And what you do is you create a character on a class, and then you sample each of the other professions, and then you finally pick one. My suggestion is First time playing for each single game, so first time playing Prophecies, first time playing Factions, first time playing Nightfall, what you want to do is sample each and every single one of the professions. That way you temporarily gain the skills, but when you temporarily gain the skills, they're considered unlocked on your account. But the other thing is, once you get to a certain point in the game, you can switch professions, or switch your secondary profession. You cannot switch your primary profession. And what you do is, if you're playing a Prophecies character, once you become Ascended, you go to the PvP area, you pay 500 gold to an NPC, they will give you the option of picking a second profession. If you're a Factions character, you have to do this once you become closer to the stars. That means you have to do that mission where you're fighting all those monsters that are like miniature constellations shaped into creatures. If you're a Nightfall character, I think it's the point where you unlock an area called the Sunspear Sanctuary. Basically, you finish a quest called Hunted, and then you can pick your secondary profession. Prophecies characters have another way of obtaining another second profession. This is to go through the Augury Rock mission and then get a series of quests that unlock secondary professions that you haven't already unlocked. These quests are available at various outposts throughout the Crystal Desert after you beat the Augury Rock mission. Once you unlock a secondary profession, anything you learned on your first profession stays learned, and you can go back to it at any time. So say your warrior monk wanted to be a warrior elementalist, you could switch between elementalist and monk for your secondary profession, and everything you've learned on those two classes stay there. Now, throughout the game, you buy skills from vendors. And generally, vendors in the starting areas don't have as good of skills as vendors in the later areas. It does help you to get to the latter areas and each of the individual standalone campaigns, simply because there are skills associated with only that campaign, and you want the better ones, so you want to get to the better areas. In Nightfall and Eye of the North, there are hero skill vendors, which allow you to unlock skills that aren't just for your hero, your actual character unlocks them, although you could have the option of unlocking skills on professions you don't have if you want your heroes to learn them. And this allows you to learn skills without having to pay any money, because you use hero points that you earn, which is a separate pool of points you get from accomplishing certain things. And then there are skills that you can gain through quests, although this is usually in Prophecies up to the Crystal Desert, and in Eye of the North when you learn PvE only skills. Generally, you want endgame monk skills, only because it helps to have a healer. If you have a hero and you want that hero to learn good monk skills, then you want to get to areas where there are good monk skills to learn. Each campaign has its own set of skills, but there are a core set of skills that are shared throughout all the campaigns. And then there's a huge chunk of skills called PvE only skills, which your heroes cannot learn. So if your character learns them, they don't get unlocked in your account, and you cannot use tomes on your alternate characters to learn these skills. There's a short list of PvE only skills outside of Eye of the North, but in Eye of the North there are tons of PvE only skills. You can have only 3 PvE only skills at a time, which unfortunately includes Signet of Capture, which is one of the only PvE only skills I can think of off the top of my head that is shared throughout all the campaigns. Now, I do want to note that once you unlock a skill on your account, all your heroes can use them, even heroes on alternate characters. So if you play a game on, say, a warrior monk, and you switch over to an elementalist ranger, and once the elementalist ranger has unlocked heroes, those heroes can learn all the skills that you learned on the warrior monk. This game rewards you for unlocking things, and that's why unlocking things is so much fun in this game. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed my video. There will be more Guild Wars 1 videos coming out, so keep your eyes open for them. I am Darth Vangoff, and I'll see you later.